So just some reminders before we get into the video. First reminder is to make sure that you're keeping an eye out and an ear out for the key word for this lesson. Reminder number 2 is to make sure you're taking notes. Include the date, lesson number, aim, and standards to help you refer back in your notes. Let's get to it. Okay, so welcome back. Today we are going to continue with lesson number 5. Today is day 3 of our aim, how do we use order of operations to solve complex problems? So here's the warm-up for today. Are the expressions below equivalent? So we have 3 to the second power over 5 and 3 over 5 to the second power. Let's see if they are equivalent. So we have 3 to the second power, which would be 3 times 3. That would be 9 over 5. But here we have all of 3/5 to the second power, which means we do 3 over 5 times 3 over 5. We would get 9 over 25. So no, they are not equivalent. Okay, so let's get into the lesson and the practice for today. Just keep in mind, we are continuing with our complex fractions and complex operations. We are going to deal with our numerator first, and then with our denominator. Then we will divide the two. So for our numerator, we have -5/4, because I'm converting it into an improper fraction, times 1/7. That's going to give me -5 over 28 as my new numerator. Our denominator is 1 to the second power over 2. This whole thing is being squared. So we have 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Now we have to do this third step, which is divide them. So we have our new numerator, which is -5/28, divided by 1/4. I want to make sure that I am KCFing, so keep, change, flip. So that would mean we have -5/28, that stays the same. Division turns to multiplication. 1/4 turns into 4 over 1. I'm going to simplify that and get -20 over 28, which can therefore be simplified. If we divide both sides, numerator and denominator, by 4, we're going to get -5/7 as our answer. Okay. Let's look at number 2. We're going to justify. Danny looked at the problem 2a and said that the answer to the problem is a negative number. We have to explain why we disagree or agree with him. All right, so let's look at 2a. We have a negative, positive. Let's change that. We have a negative, we have a positive, and then we have a negative value. That's getting squared, so that's important. Then that's going to be over a positive value. So let's go back. We have the negative value. In parentheses, we have a positive times the negative. And that, I believe, was all, that was squared. That is over a positive number. Okay, so let's see. We're going to have the negative. A positive times a negative will be a negative. That is getting squared. So negative times a negative will be a positive value. So this will be positive. We'll still have the negative on the outside. and everything is still getting divided by a positive value. All right, so let's move on. Let's see. We have a negative times a positive will be a negative value, and it's still over a positive. Whoop. So a negative divided by a positive will be a negative answer. So we would agree with Danny. The reason why, this would be justification showing your work, the process throughout the whole thing to find that your negative answer divided by a positive will be a negative. All right, so let's move on to 2A. So now we actually have to simplify. We know it's going to be a negative answer. We just need to see what the actual value is going to be. So here we are going to simplify the numerator. We're going to get negative 2/3 times negative 1/4 to the second power. We have negative on the outside, 2/3 times negative 1/4, you're going to get negative 2/12. You're going to square that, which is going to be negative times negative 2/12 times negative 2/12. We know it'll be positive, so we have a negative 4 over 144. Oops. So we're going to take our negative 4 over 144, divide that by 1/4. Here we want to make sure we're KCF. We keep change flip, which means we have negative 4 over 144 times 4 over 1. And that's going to give us 16, negative 16, over 144. If you simplify that, you can divide by 16. You're going to negative 1/9 as your answer. Okay, so for number 3, pause the video here, try it on your own, and we'll go over the answer. Okay, so welcome back. We have Sarah mixes 4 3/4 gallons of red paint with 1.5 gallons of white paint. How many 3-gallon paint cans could she fill? All right, so that means we have 4 3/4. We have 1.5 of white. And then we need to know 3 paint gallons. All right, or 3-gallon paint cans. So we have 19, because 4 3/4 turns into 19/4, plus 3/2, and then we have to divide it by 3. So we need to combine our like terms, but we have to combine and create a common denominator. So 19/4 stays the same. In order to get 4 as the denominator, we need to multiply numerator and denominator by 2. So 3/2 turns into 6/4. This will be added and then divided by 3. So here we go. We're going to deal with our parentheses. We have 19 plus 6 is 25/4. This is divided by 3 over 1. We're going to make sure we KCF. 25 over 4 times 1/3. That simplifies to 25 over 12, which will also simplify to 2 1/12. Now, we're trying to figure out how many 3-gallon paint cans she could fill. Technically, you can't fill that 3rd gallon. So or the 3rd 3-gallon paint can. So what you would only have is 2 3-gallon paint cans that Sarah can fill up. So be careful that 3 doesn't throw you off. All right, so if you are in class, make sure you continue to complete your independent work. If you're at home, make sure you're checking Google Classroom for your assignments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.